Tulsi Gabbard just gave a completely absurd, upside down interview on Laura Ingram's Fox News program tonight about the alleged criminal conspiracy that Barack Obama committed when he simply investigated the election interference by Russia in the 2016 election. Now, listen to Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, complain about the propaganda arm of the deep state.
You heard the media reaction, and a lot of these same people were just buying lock, stock, and barrel what was sold to them during the 2016 election. But they're essentially saying, this is all old news. This is such a stupid political move on their part. Into that, you say?
They are using the same old tactic that the deep state's propaganda arm in the media uses. Whenever they come across something that is true and that doesn't go along with whatever their narrative is that they're trying to shove down the throats of the American people, they first usually ignore it, as they did when I first released these documents a couple of weeks ago. They tried to ignore it. When they realized that they weren't going to get away with this, that this story was going to continue breathing life, we continued releasing new documents. Then they decided, oh, we'll take this approach of say, oh, this is nothing. There's nothing really to see here. This is bizarre. This is a conspiracy. These are the things that they do over and over and over again. And the next step they will take when they feel that they are not succeeding in getting rid of this truth that we have uncovered for the American people, then they will go down the route of we must destroy and smear and attack the credibility of those who are delivering the truth to the American people. They've done this to President Trump. They've done this to me. They've done this to so many different people, once again, who are trying to tell the American people the truth and expose these people, many of whom you just showed, for who they are as the propaganda arm of the deep state.
Tulsi Gabbard, you're the deep state. You're the director of national intelligence. If you ain't the deep state, then who is? Tulsi, you've got access to all the data, all the information you could possibly dream of. Tell us who this deep state is. Is the deep state in the room with you right now, Tulsi? And of course, her saying that they cram this down the throats of Americans. I mean, can we all just agree that that is so cringy? Can we all just stop saying that? Now, again, this all has to do with the criminal conspiracy that Barack Obama committed. But listen to Tulsi Gabbard in that same interview just go blank when asked about the irrefutable evidence she has that Barack Obama committed a crime.
You said there was irrefutable evidence that Obama was the mastermind of this intelligence manipulation and the perpetuation of the Russia hoax. What is that irrefutable evidence for our viewers tonight?
Yeah, Laura, as you were playing those clips of these people like Morning Joe seemingly befuddled, saying that by no account is any of this true, I would challenge them to see if they've actually read the documents, every single page of the documents that we've released over the last couple of weeks. If not, go to odni.gov, G-O-V. It's all right there for anyone to see. And those who go in and read this will see how President Obama directed that a National Security Council meeting be called to talk about Russia, that the report that came out of that meeting was filled with tasks that were delivered by James Clapper's assistant to John Brennan and to other elements of the intelligence community. John Brennan was the head of the CIA at the time, all saying per the president's direction, per the president's order. And very specifically, they were tasked to create an intelligence assessment that detailed how Moscow tried to influence the election, not if, but how. And this was the beginning of this manufactured intelligence assessment where they knowingly wrote things in this assessment that were false.
Tulsi Gabbard there can't articulate a crime by President Obama. She just describes his national security meeting in which he tasked his intelligence committee to detail the election interference by Russians in the 2016 election. Can't explain a crime, can't articulate it, because there is no crime. A bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee looked at all this a committee that Marco Rubio, Donald Trump's current Secretary of State, sat on, looked at all this and said there was no crime. But all of a sudden, now that Donald Trump and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is being focused on by the media and the country, well, now all of a sudden there was a crime. I mean, we can't really articulate it, but you better go read it for yourself. Don't spend time on the Epstein files. No. Go look at what Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, the deep state, is trying to distract you with, the propaganda she's trying to distract you with. Now, Tulsi brought it around full circle in terms of the projection and the irony of this interview when she went on about how this is all being done to try to delegitimize Donald Trump.
And this is documented in what we released, all coming together to create this lie with the intent of delegitimizing the duly elected president of the United States because the person they wanted to win actually lost. And the American people made their own choice in spite of everything that happened in that 2016 election, and they chose Donald Trump. This was not a one-off thing. This wasn't just, oh, well, they fudged the lines a little bit. They created a lie and propagated that lie in order to try to undermine the person that the American people chose to be our president and commander-in-chief.
To your point that you made earlier,
Tulsi Gabbard really wants viewers to believe that it was the Democrats, it was the propaganda arm of the deep state who delegitimized Donald Trump in his first term, when we all know it was Donald Trump's behavior. It was the way he spoke about the country and about Democrats and Republicans in his first term that delegitimized him from day one. Now, amazingly, Tulsi Gabbard is saying this on Fox News, a network that had to pay $787 million in penalties because of the lies that they spread about the 2020 election to delegitimize President Joe Biden. Tulsi Gabbard, also the director of national intelligence for Donald Trump, the guy who led an armed rebellion to stop the certification of the 2020 election because he wasn't happy that he lost. An armed rebellion that wanted to kill lawmakers, that wanted to hang the vice president, Donald Trump's own vice president, Mike Pence. That armed rebellion. Tulsi Gabbard wants to defend that guy. Tulsi Gabbard wants to pretend like Democrats are the ones who are responsible for his delegitimization. Tulsi, we don't have to work that hard. You have a child as the most powerful person in the world, and you are his propaganda arm. You are his deep state, spreading lies and misinformation to distract us from the fact that he was close friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and he's all over those files. So you can kick and you can scream all you want, but nothing is going to change the fact that we are very focused on the relationship between Epstein and Trump.